over the last 2 years of witnessing the most horrific thing that I've ever seen or read about in history books, frankly. This bloodletting in Gaza pales in, and everything that I've ever learned about pales in comparison to what I have witnessed in 4K on my phone for 2 years straight. And it's not only revealed the lack of humanity and just the criminality of not only governments, but these global institutions that were created under the auspices to prevent tragedies like this, prevent state actors from committing genocide. I've always thought that if people just knew the situation in Palestine, or if they knew what their government was doing around the world, they would care. And I have to face the really harsh truth that there's a small contingent of people who don't care. Arms embargo, trade embargo, sanctions, and also just boycotts, artistic, cultural boycotts, academic boycotts, sports boycotts. All of these things are extremely paramount. For governments, get the embassies out, suspend the diplomats, stop the trade, and stop shipping weapons, which was cementing just the most basic measures possible, arresting war criminal Netanyahu if he comes through your jurisdiction. There's a barrel of a gun held to the heads of the world from the United States, and that's why this genocide is raging on. We're talking about over 200 journalists and media workers that have been systematically slaughtered, many alongside their entire families. New York Times editorial board should be tried at The Hague next to Netanyahu and the Trump administration and the Biden administration for their complicity in manufacturing consent for this genocide. So I am horrified and disgusted at the silence from mainstream journalist institutions, at the lack of solidarity for their murdered colleagues. Because if they think that's going to start and stop in Gaza, they are sorely mistaken. This is obviously a testing ground and a warning shot to the rest of the world to fall in line. That hundreds of people risk their lives. Citizens have to put their bodies on the line to do what governments have failed to do. That brings me hope. That brings me love. And that brings me strength. And I continue to be shocked and horrified every day that this is continuing, that babies are starving to death and the world looks away. And the only thing I can think of is that anti-Muslim bigotry is so extreme and normalized that this is what the world has accepted. Bombing and starving children in a cage for 2 years, that's acceptable because of how Islamophobic the planet is.